2010, I went through probably the hardest thing I've ever been through in my entire life, which was going through withdrawals from 11 years of benzodiazepine use. And I didn't get it on the streets. I wasn't like trying to get high or anything. Like, I got it from my doctor. I got it from numerous doctors. And the reason why they gave it to me is because I do something that's called dissociate. And it's basically a way for you to protect your psyche if you're going through something really hard. But unfortunately, a lot of people with like chronic mental health issues are prescribed Klonopin in huge amounts for years and years and years. And finally, people are starting to get off of it. I think I first talked to the first doctor about getting off my meds when I think I was in grad school in like 2004. And I saw this, like the doctor at my school was like this big jolly guy. And I thought he was really nice and stuff. And so he was like asking me how I was doing. I was like, well, I'd really like to be off some of these medications, especially the Klonopin. And he was like, well, it's either this or pushing up daisies. So when somebody says that to you, it doesn't really give you a whole lot of confidence that you're going to be able to get off the meds. I chose to get into treatment for like basically the dissociation and stuff when I was 24. And so for me it was like, it was a big help to me because I'd been having it since I was 13. Like I had my first dissociative episode when I was 13. And so I'd been dealing with it for like, a really long time. So for me, it was, and actually the Klonopin, I called it my magical green pill.
We walk to the park. And we watch the birds. They are just like us.
What I did was, through all the withdrawal symptoms, I also had to learn how to deal with my symptoms. So you're dealing with the symptoms you got on the medication for, and then all the withdrawal symptoms. Yeah. So that teaches you real quick. It's like, it's pretty much sink or swim. Yeah. So from like 1996 to 2006, I was super active creatively. Mm-hmm. And then like I went through this thing and I couldn't even talk. So I thought that I was never going to get it back. I thought it would be like, that was just what my life was going to be like being on all these drugs and not being able to talk. I started taking lots of photographs. I didn't really have the attention span to do video, but I could take photographs.
We walk to the park.
We went to my favorite place, which is the Olympic Peninsula, and we were out hiking, and we were coming back, and there was like this little white thing by the side of the trail, and we picked it up, and it was a little bear.
Watch the birds.
Hello, my name is Humpty Lumps, and these nice ladies found me on the trail, the Quinault, what was it called? Rainforest. The Quinault Rainforest Trail. And if you'll look to your left,
Even though I wasn't talking very much, and like he was kind of being interactive with the world.
Buffer between you and...
Totally. A total buffer between me and the world, which was kind of scary.
Yeah.
my name is Humpty Lumps, and I bring good bear luck. I was saying that the trees look like my brethren because they're so fuzzy, and lo and behold, a bear showed up right around those two bushes over there. He's in there. We think that he got a fish. And anyways, I just thought you might want to see this beautiful river. There we go.
And Mima Mounds is a really cool place. People didn't understand why there were mounds all over in here. And there's all these different explanations. Like that they were burial grounds, and that they happened when glacier retreated, like 16,000 years ago. And then there was this thing about maybe gophers made them. So my idea of why Mima Mounds formed is that back in the Ice Age, when there was snow and ice everywhere, that there were polar bear-like creatures with really big butts, and they decided that this prairie area was really cool because it was really wide, and so they would come down in here on the weekends and they would slide down the prairie on their butts, and they would have races. It was like Polar Bear Raceway, and that's the way that the mounds were formed. Bye!
And watch the birds. Working all day long. One more day is gone.
So I'd been talking with people about that, and they're like, you really should go into research. You really should. You know a lot about this just from your own experience. And I was like, that made me feel really good.
Today is almost done.
So I read like Foucault and feminist interpretations of his work. And then I applied that. I took another class in theaters of resistance. And then I came up with like kind of a guideline for people who are developing arts programs. And it was all about narrative and all about people being able to express the conditions of their subjectivity. Yeah, like creativity is the way that you express your subjective view of the world.
Right.
Watch the birds. We walk to the park and watch the
So we met in this drawing class, and our final project, we could do something that we were excited about from our own practice. So I did a short animated piece about process art, and I used my my photographs from my hiking and stuff, and I made kind of an animated version of what hiking is for me.
One more day is gone. Today is almost done. We walk to the park and watch the birds. We walk to the park and watch the birds. We walk to the park and watch the birds. We walk to the park and watch the
Having an image cut into small pieces and repeated and repeated and repeated is very much kind of like the way I process information.
Yeah, to me that is really relatable to the process of hiking, like, because it can seem like you've been somewhere, or it's the same images are repeating.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And just you're like walking, like you're just walking and walking and walking, so your body is doing this repeated motion, and then the way that the light plays, like if you're in a, like a forest, the light comes through the trees in a certain way, and it plays on your eyes in this like repeated thing, and it's really calming, but it's also like it can take you to like an altered state in a way. You can go through really hard things all throughout your life, but if there's one thing, it can be really, really tiny, like going for a walk or hanging out with your grandma as much as you're able when you're a little kid. There's like these small things in life that can teach you ways to cope, and if you can talk about it, or if it's some way for you to express what you're going through, it creates a narrative of what you're experiencing, and that is kind of the key. Even if you can't talk, you can create a narrative through your creativity.
Thanks for watching my digital storytelling piece. This is the first installment of a series of autobiographical pieces that I'm going to be working on over the next year or so. I took kind of an experimental approach with this. I didn't write any kind of script for it. I wanted it to be in my speaking voice rather than my writing voice, and it was very challenging. When I was making it, I was also researching narrative and became aware that I had a dominant narrative that had a bunch of threads that were not coming into play. And so I tried to bring those into my story as much as possible. I felt like it was really important for me to focus on my recovery process in this video. It's going to be a lifelong journey, and so just talking about kind of how it's gone for me was really important to me, and I hope that it helps other people. So stay tuned, and again, thank you very much for watching.